Now on Coast TV News.
Election on lodging policy. We go live to Ocean City as people in that town are voting on restrictions of short-term rentals. Comment controversy. The situation in Lewis, it sees the resignation of the city's fire chief, and we have new information on how they're filling that leadership void.
This is Coast TV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Pensick and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. Our top story this hour, a special election happening right now in Ocean City. It potentially could override an ordinance for stricter rules on rentals in certain residential areas. Coast TV News reporter Elisa Weber is live in Ocean City. And Elisa, right now you are at the convention center where that special election is taking place.
Good morning, Matt. Yes, right now I am in front of the convention center here in Ocean City. You can see locals are going inside to vote on this ruling. And earlier this year, Ocean City officials passed a rule that would have stricter limits on rentals in certain areas of the town. For 2025 and 2026, that minimum night stay would be 5 nights. But in 2027, that would jump to a 31-night minimum stay. And now a petition actually gathered over 1,000 signatures, which is what prompted this special election in order to possibly override that rule. And now take a look at your screen. These are the areas that the town says would be affected by these rules. They would be single-family residential and mobile home districts. Town officials estimate the changes would impact about 300 of Ocean City's roughly 9,000 rental properties. Ocean City manager Rick Meehan says that this ordinance is designated to preserve the peace and residential feel of year-round communities. And this special election will take place until 8 o'clock tonight right here at the Ocean City Convention Center. In Ocean City, I'm Elisa Weber, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Elisa. And this does bring us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how should Ocean City regulate short-term rentals in neighborhoods? And let's take a look at the updated results right now. So far, if we can get the poll up on our screen, there we go. 44% say relax those limits. 24% say keep the 5-night rule. 28% ban by 2027. And 4% want to go case by case. Now, with this vote happening today in Ocean City, we looked into the short-term rental situations in other communities. Here is what we found. Milton is looking at a policy that would cap a short-term stay at 30 days. Fenwick Island officials have debated a combination of local and state that results in a 12.5% tax rate. Selbyville officials are considering banning short-term rentals altogether. Tonight in Seaford, marijuana businesses could get a boost. According to the agenda for the city council meeting, there is a first reading of a change to city code. This would allow the sale of the drug. However, city officials will also consider changing the fee and rate schedule. It would increase the retail marijuana business license fee. City council meeting tonight at 7 p.m. in Seaford. Taking a live look now at south of Milford. We're working on a very pleasant late morning, and our First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey joins us now with a look at First Alert weather. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Matt. We are looking at a beautiful late July weather pattern. Temperatures are warm, but the humidity is not oppressive. And it's a little cooler at the beach right now with the northeast wind. 75 in Lewis, Rehoboth 76, Bethany Beach 77, but then lower 80s as you get inland. 82 in Georgetown and Millsboro 82. We've got dew points in the 60s and low 70s. Not necessarily comfortable, but better than it has been. As we're looking, it feels like temperatures now into the mid 80s away from the beaches and 70s at the coast. As the winds are coming in out of the east and northeast, a little stronger at the coast. We've got a few cumulus clouds popping up on the visible satellite picture over Delmarva. A little disturbance offshore could bring some showers into New Jersey and possibly across our coastal areas later on. But I think that's about a 20% chance as we have high pressure to the north, and that is bringing in that drier and slightly cooler air. And this high will be sticking around for a couple of days, keeping our weather relatively quiet. Here's noon on Futurecast. We're in the 80s. Inland 70s at the coast. I think it's 70s and low 80s later on today with low to mid 80s inland areas. And there's that outside chance of a stray shower. Otherwise pretty quiet and mild and warm as we go into the evening hours. Day part forecast has the wind starting to come in out of the east with warm temperatures today. And the humidity will start to creep up, as will the temperatures the rest of the week. Pretty hot by Friday and some rain chances for the weekend. More on that coming up in my full forecast a little bit later in the newscast.
Forward to that. Thank you, Bob. We have new information on a story we've reported on. The Lewis Fire Department has named Robert Stevens as his interim chief. This after the suspension and resignation of the now former Lewis Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo. Buckaloo was suspended from the Lewis Fire Department after allegedly making what's only being called right now a derogatory comment. A department spokesperson says Buckaloo resigned from his position after the department became aware of that comment he made in a public setting. No official word on what exactly that comment was. Now, in a press release, the Lewis Fire Department said the department recognizes that Mr. Buckaloo's behavior is disconcerting in respect of all points of view. His comments run counter to the department's beliefs and values of serving our entire community. For full disclosure, Interim Chief Stevens is the husband of CoastTV's Assistant News Director and anchor, Madeline Overturf. An update to a story that we brought to you last month. Delaware State Police say they've arrested the third person involved in a shooting near the Slaughter Beach Fire Company. According to state police, there was a party at a pavilion behind the fire company on June 12th, and they say the three suspects opened fire on the people who were there around 7 p.m. A 32-year-old Dover man was shot and later released from the hospital. All suspects now arrested, now facing charges including assault and reckless endangering. We're learning about a 62-year-old Millsboro man who is now facing 6 separate charges, including 2 felonies, after his arrest on Sunday. According to Delaware State Police, Kurt Faulkner was arrested in the 30,000 block of Iron Branch Road in Dagsboro. State Police responded to reports of an unconscious man behind the wheel of a Ford Escape. Search found 26 baggies of suspected heroin and drug paraphernalia. Faulkner was committed to Sussex Correctional Institution. More details on this, including the specific charges involved, can be found on the CoastTV app and website. And coming up, supply shortage, the alarm from the blood bank, and the options to donate on Delmarva. CoastTV News Midday is back after this. A blood emergency declared on Delmarva means the blood supply has fallen below a 2-day inventory. Blood Bank of Delmarva asking for the community to help. This week marks the first time the Salisbury Blood Bank is open again. That's after closing its doors in February. And right now, the Salisbury location is open Monday and Tuesdays, but the plan is to extend the hours once resources improve. Grant requests and land use take center stage at today's Sussex County Council meeting. The council will discuss a conditional use ordinance for an area of land in Frankfort. This is for a storage building and a car wash. Council members will also review grant requests for the Bridgeville Police Department's Back to School Bash, the Delaware Botanic Gardens, and roof repairs in Ocean View's Historic Village. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, 7 p.m., we have the Shorebirds taking on the Lynchburg Hillcats. That's at Purdue Stadium. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. Little League Softball Mid-Atlantic Regional Tournament happening this week. The Delmarva Sports Network is in Bristol covering Maryland's Delmar team and Delaware's Camden, Wyoming squad. This is brought to you by Preston Automotive. We have live updates on the DSN app, website, and social media.
We're seeing wall-to-wall blue skies in Cambridge on the FH Fur Cam, 81 degrees, dew point 70, so it's still a little on the muggy side, but not too bad as temperatures warm into the mid-80s and the pleasant late July weather continues for a couple more days, then hot and humid to end the week, and it looks like some showers and storms headed into the weekend. Congratulations to Selena Brown from Berlin, Maryland, on winning a brand new umbrella, courtesy of Paul Davis and Coast TV. I'll have your full forecast coming up after the break. We're looking at a pretty nice day weather-wise across Delmarva, seeing the blue skies, a few puffy cumulus clouds on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam in Laurel. 81, the dew point's at 70, so it's marginally muggy out there as temperatures warm into the mid-80s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies. Your storyline today and tomorrow, sunshine, lower humidity, not perfect, but better than it has been. I think it'll be comfortable, especially in the afternoon hours. Highs in the low to mid-80s, lows in the 60s at night, so pretty decent sleeping weather. Then late in the week it turns hot with higher humidity, temperatures climbing through the 80s into the 90s. Not expecting rain the rest of the week. I think some rain into the weekend. Temperatures warming now, low to mid 80s inland areas, 81 in Harrington. If you're headed to the fair, make sure you have plenty of water. 82 in Dagsboro, Salisbury 82, Laurel 81. A little cooler at the beaches with the northeast wind, 79 Ocean City, Rehoboth 76, and Lewis 75. Dew point temperatures in the 60s and low 70s. 70s. For really dry weather, we like to see dew points in the 50s. Not seeing that, so a little on the muggy side, but once again, better than it was, as you do have a flow coming off the ocean. So that's giving us some of the higher dew points. It's an easterly wind right now that's pretty light, and we're seeing some cumulus clouds showing up on the visible satellite picture across southern Delaware into Maryland. But aside from that, a beautiful day with lots of sunshine. There was a little disturbance offshore near the Jersey shore, and that's where we're seeing a few showers, and it's possible some of those could migrate our way and maybe an isolated shower later in the day. But all in all, we're looking at mainly sunny skies as high pressure is building in from the north with the drier air, and that's sprawling high pressure all the way back across the Midwest, keeping the real hot weather to our south and west, and that's from Texas into the Central Plains. They're baking with highs in the 90s and triple digits. But for us with high pressure, it's lower humidity the next couple of days, dew points in the 60s, and pretty comfortable for late July. And as we go into the afternoon hours, low to mid 80s inland areas, and then 70s and 80s at the coast. An outside chance of an isolated shower or storm. Otherwise, a good-looking afternoon with mid 80s away from the beaches. And this evening, maybe a few clouds along the coast. Otherwise, mainly clear tonight. Another mild start and a good start to see some nice sleeping weather with mid 60s at 6 a.m., 70s at the coast. And as we go through your Wednesday, we're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 80s, a tad more humidity, and then as a wind shift to the south, even muggier going through the week. But as we go through the afternoons the next couple of days, we're into the mid 60s and then very humid to miserable as we go. Our flow is turning more out of the southwest with time. A hot Friday on the way, and I think the first half of Saturday is dry, but then increasing showers and storms later Saturday, and with a front nearby on Sunday. Maybe a steadier rain with storms later Sunday into Monday. But ahead of that, feeling like close to 100 away from the coast as we go into your Friday. About 85 in Harrington today, Laurel and Millsboro about 84. Eastern Shore, you're in the mid 80s, around 85 in East and back through Vienna. And Crisfield 85 and Snow Hill 84 with lots of sunshine. Paul Day have a 7-day forecast. We've got 60s for lows the next couple of mornings, and then warming up as we go through the week. 88 Thursday, 94 Friday, and the humidity will be back too with storms Saturday 93. A little cooler Sunday. I think more widespread storms and still some lingering showers into Monday and a high of 88.
Thank you, Bob. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Hope you're having a good Tuesday so far, but Coast Life can make it even better if you tune in and join us at 4 o'clock. You're going to be seeing some behind the scenes and some setup. We're going to chat with the folks behind Lego Fest, which is going to be really fun and really exciting. And every week we've been introducing you to the dish of the week from our friends at Benvenuto. Don't forget, you can get that 10% discount off your meal at Benvenuto. We'll tell you how today at 4 when we get through all of that fun and more on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
That and coming up next, new tariffs could make building a home even pricier. How much more you might have to pay right after the break. Some analysts claiming new tariffs make home ownership even less affordable for Americans. A new report from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce is warning that if U.S. tariffs on Canadian imports stay in place, the average cost to build a home could jump $14,000 by 2027. That's because Canada is the third largest source of imports used in U.S. home construction. It accounts for most of our lumber imports in metals like iron, copper, and steel. More changes from the Trump administration. The White House announced a decision to withdraw from the UN's Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Agency on Tuesday, citing that the Trump administration sees as anti-Israel bias at that organization. This is the third time the U.S. has left UNESCO and the second time during a Trump administration. The decision takes effect at the end of December 2026. Microsoft has issued an alert about active attacks on its server software. The affected SharePoint servers are used by businesses and government agencies to share files. Microsoft recommends customers disconnect their servers from the internet until they can apply new security updates. Company said cloud-based SharePoint Online and Microsoft 365 was not affected. Still ahead, Coke's sweet shift. Why nutritionists are saying the change in sugar does not mean a healthier drink. Stay with us on Coast TV News Midday. Coca-Cola is releasing a new beverage product with cane sugar. The drink will launch this fall, will be sold in addition to Coke's original product that uses high fructose corn syrup, but nutritionists say sugar-filled soda isn't healthier either, no matter the sweetener. Tax and spending cuts package that President Trump signed into law earlier this month expected to leave 10 million people without health insurance in 2034. That's according to a Congressional Budget Office estimate released on Monday. Separately, the CBO has projected an additional 5 million more could be uninsured in 2034 due to the expiration of Affordable Care Act.
We're seeing gorgeous conditions right now in the Gutter Helmet Camp. Beautiful day for boating. Not seeing that right now. 79 in Ocean View. Headed into the low 80s at the coast, mid 80s inland as the pleasant late July weather continues for a couple more days. And then hot and humid to end the weekend. Unfortunately, showers and storms into the weekend. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up next. A beautiful summer afternoon in store for Delmarva. If you're out and about, inland areas warming into the mid 80s and then 70s and quiet this evening. At the beaches, a slight chance of a shower and a little cooler with that east-northeast wind, 70s and low 80s for you. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 60s the next couple of nights, nice sleeping weather. 84 Wednesday, 88 Thursday, and then hot by the end of the week into the weekend. 94 Friday, but feeling like 100. And then unfortunately, best timing not the best with some showers and storms later Saturday, 93, and I think more widespread storms Sunday, 89. And then it looks like we end July partly cloudy and 87 by Thursday.
I'll take that. Thank you, Bob. And thank you for joining us on Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to watch later for Coast TV News at 5. Until then, have a great Tuesday, everybody.